Hiren, hi, is my voice reaching you? This is Nikunj from the studio.
Yes.
It's not going to be a good morning, Hiren. My question to you is this the time when you should buy fear, or is it too early to buy the fear?
Well, it really depends, Nikunj. I think, let's hope that whatever is happening does not last too long. And, I think that uh, if you look at past wars or situations like this, usually at the end of this event, the market typically tends to bounce back. So I think that there are two ways to look at it, right? One is to let the uncertainty go by, and then you buy when there is seeming clarity that it is almost over, or you could start buying slowly and steadily, because it's really difficult to dimension how long this will last and what other collateral damage we could see as a result of that, right? So I think that these are times to be very steady and weigh out your options reasonably well. But I think it may not be any harm to watch the situation for a day or two and then you start buying, right?
It's just getting slightly crazy out there. Bitcoin has fallen, crude is above $100, and SGX is indicating that we will be in for a 2.5 to about 3% gap down start. That's SGX for you, and today is also expiry. So, Aaron, what do you do in this kind of an environment? I mean, you know that the long-term picture is intact, but in the short term, when the pain is so excruciating, just hold on to your positions, or you may be forced to rethink your basic strategy, looking at how risk is now getting adjusted.
So Nikunj, unless you are a trader and you have to sell, I think it is crazy for investors to react in this kind of market and sell anything indiscriminately, right? Because there is no point of selling into the fear. And as I mentioned, that if you go back in the past and look at events like this, typically on the whenever these events wind down, the markets typically tend to bounce back, right? So I think unless it is absolutely necessary, it is actually counterproductive to sell into a panic like this. Whether you want to buy or not is entirely up to the investor's risk appetite. But I think that if you want to buy the fear, you should stick to large caps, high quality names, and then let the dust settle down, and then you could then venture more into the market. But that's what I would do.
What is your
Not
definition
panic,
for
not sell.
What is your definition for large cap? Will it be the Asian Paints and the Nestle's of the world classics? Could it be
No,
IT,
you
which are
could buy
still growing?
banks. You could buy large cap banks. You could buy large cap tech. I mean, it really depends, right? I mean, I have no particular this thing. I think at this stage I wouldn't look at very crude sensitive sectors like paints, etc., because you don't know in the short run what happens to crude. Though our long term belief is that once this event is over, as I said, again, it all depends on how long this lasts. I think you can't have the fact that interest rates are also rising and crude is also rising, right? So either then the Fed will probably reduce its hawkishness going into an event like this, or at some point in time, crude has to tumble after this geopolitical event is out of the way. So I think, buy stuff that has held out reasonably well. And I think this year banks have held out reasonably well. I think large cap tech is reasonably priced, and therefore, just buy blue chips, and not panic in this kind of a situation.
Sure. Panic or not, but panic there surely is in the oil markets. Brent oil, by the way, has hit $100 to a barrel for the first time since 2014. So it's happened. We have a print here of 100 on crude. But Hiren, just moving away from the large caps, some of the newly listed stories is something that you've liked in the past as well. We've often talked about Nykaa around the IPO too. Is that a space you would want to touch at all in this kind of market? Or would you say wait for the dust to settle down because that's where the cracks are sharpest?
For anything other than large caps, right, I think you should wait, let the dust settle down, and then buy, right? I mean, you don't have to necessarily buy every dip in every company. So I think at this point in time, I would only restrict myself to the large caps.
Fair point. Makes sense. Hiren, great to speak with you today, and thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule.
Thank you. Thank you.